Welcome back to Beyond the Borders. Today, your host, Sam, will take you off to a nation that you probably associate with happy things. That nation, of course, is Brazil. So what else do you think of when you think of Brazil? Perhaps samba, the carnival, soccer? In fact, they probably are the best soccer team in the world, in spite of their lack of World Cup wins. Sorry, France. But, however, Brazil hasn't always been happy. In spite of your image of a carefree, happy people, Brazil has had some issues in recent years and has gone downhill pretty severely, and I'll explain exactly how. Not all that long ago, in the first decade of the new millennium, Brazil was doing very well thanks to very high commodity prices. Now, I'm not going to tell you what commodities are. You just have to look that up because I'm not going to bore you with more economics. Sorry. The president during this period was a man named Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, more commonly known as Lula. In fact, Lula is part of a long Brazilian tradition of naming some of their more respected figures with only one name. This goes for not only this politician, but also some of their well-respected soccer stars, such as Pelé and Neymar. So, therefore, Lula is still known as one of the more legendary figures in Brazil's history. After multiple attempts at running for the presidency and failing, Lula finally captured the office in 2002 on a similar platform of Mexico's Andrés Manuel López Obrador, basically with this platform being that I will be more moderate to the country's business and political elites and I'm not going to be on a path of confrontation. This worked, and thus, due to high commodity prices, Lula was able to spend a lot more money on various very popular social programs such as the Bolsa Familia program, and without really blowing up the budget deficit. In fact, Brazil's budget deficit and inflation were lower than ever under Lula. So, wasn't that great? The good times, however, could not last forever. Sorry, isn't that true with everywhere? Eventually, commodity prices fell off of their historic highs and Brazil was plunged into a severe economic collapse worse than any time after the Great Depression. Even worse for Brazil, it was exposed in 2015 that much of the country's political and business elites were caught in the Petrobras scandal, where they would rig and skim the tops off of contracts related to the state-owned oil company Petrobras. This, of course, has caused widespread political and economic chaos in Brazil and has really freaked everyone out. And finally, it has made most Brazilians very angry at their political class, kind of like what it is here, except a lot worse. Yeah, so if you think it's bad here, just go down to Brazil. Our problems are times 10 down there. Promise. Of course, this meant that Lula's successor, Dilma Rousseff, got impeached and replaced with the also legendarily crooked president Michel Temer, whose approval rating is about 4%. Yes, 4%, not 40, not 14, 4%. Yes, and I can tell you he is not running for re-election. This, of course, transitions me to an election that Brazil is having. One candidate that will not be there, besides Michel Temer, is Mr. Lula. Even though he was technically nominated by the Workers' Party, Lula will not be a candidate thanks to his jail sentence and his ban on running for political office ever again by the country's electoral commission. And, of course, when you're in jail, you can't run for office. In fact, it's tradition in other countries that you run for office specifically to escape jail. So Lula missed that chance. Dang it. In his place lie a colorful array of alternatives, including environmentalist Marina Silva, former Lula opponent Geraldo Alckmin, and perhaps the most interesting candidate of them all, Jair Bolsonaro. Mr. Bolsonaro, if you have been watching the news in the last few days, recently survived an assassination attempt by a deranged man with a knife. While Mr. Bolsonaro did lose 40% of his blood, he's expected to make a full recovery and go back to the campaign trail. Told you things were crazy down there. Some of Mr. Bolsonaro's positions are, shall we say, controversial. He has repeatedly praised the military dictatorship that ruled Brazil in the 1970s and collapsed in 1986, and has called for a loosening of gun laws, a rather risky position in a country with such an extreme high crime rate as Brazil. Also, he has made some rather controversial comments. While Mr. Trump made some controversial comments that were off the record on that Access Hollywood tape.
And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the...
Mr. Bolsonaro made some rather unfortunate comments about women publicly. In fact, he once called another congresswoman so ugly that she didn't deserve to be raped. Yes, raped again. Sorry that rape keeps coming up in politics. I know it's not appropriate, but it just happens. That's what happens in banana republics like Brazil. Sorry for all Brazilians, but your country's descended to that level. So, Brazil will hold an election this October where not only will the presidency be up for grabs, but all seats in both houses of the Brazilian Congress will be up for grabs. And none of Brazil's many problems will be solved until after then, if ever, including the recession and the scandal. So stay tuned. Brazil has a long way to go back, but I hope it can.
Here's the thing. Last quiz segment, we decided that your country would have your country would have 5 letters, wasn't it? Yeah. And we named it Dubeli. We named it Dubeli.
Well, there is one.
DBELI.
I don't understand why we don't pick a real country with 5 letters like Egypt.
No,
Egypt.
because it's a made-up country. We're making up our own country here. All right?
Wesley logic never makes sense.
This quiz segment, we will decide if your country is in the southern or northern hemisphere. All right?
Okay, well...
and here's the thing. I will keep asking you questions until you get one wrong. And the one you get wrong, if it's an even number, northern, odd, southern. Okay? First question. What is the capital... Or Vaduz is the capital of which country? Andorra, Estonia, Armenia, Liechtenstein.
It's Liechtenstein.
Liechtenstein.
And that's the answer.
Liechtenstein. Okay, you got it right. What is the capital of Moldova?
Chisinau.
Jeez. All right. Okay. Freetown is the capital of which country?
Liberia. Is this all capitals because it's game over? We're
Okay,
gonna
it's
be here
not
all
Liberia.
night.
It's Sierra Leone.
What?
Oh no.
So it's northern.
So it's southern.
Southern, but there's not.
Even was northern.
Whatever.
Sam, your country is in the southern hemisphere, and that is it for today's quiz.
Oh, and by the way, next week, comment below and like it and share. Do everything that. Our next segment will be on another country that I am very interested in that also has an election. Actually, that's tomorrow. That, of course, is Sweden.
We're doing Sweden finally.
Yay!